document or
Okay.
even that individually, and they have promised they will go through it and come back.
Okay.
But I have also seen myself that if some tips are given, it will be helpful.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so I'll take this as feedback, and we'll get into what I wanted to say to you about the midline assessment, how you can design the midline assessment. So just to make everything clear, this year midline assessment is more complicated than last year because we have some children who have continued from last year, and we have some children who have joined us this year. And of course, we have time gap, and the number of objectives you have covered for old students and new students are different. So this year, we are going to have separate papers if you have two different level of E0s. In your center, if you have two different level of E0s, and we are going to have two separate papers. For that, what we are going to do is, we are going to give you a common paper, which I've shared in the WhatsApp group. So, and we are going to test in two ways, right? One is the written test. Second is the oral test. For midline, oral test for you is optional. Okay, I'll come to oral test later. For written test, we are going to test 4 skills. The first skill we are going to test is reading comprehension. Second skill is writing. Third is grammar. Fourth is vocabulary. These are the 4 skills we are going to test in our written test. So there are some, and for all these 4 skills, I've given you a full paper for E0. So I'm explaining for E0, it is the same pattern for other levels also. You have to follow the same pattern for other levels. So I'm going to say some steps. If you can note it down, it will be really helpful. Yeah. The first step you need to do as a center mentor is to identify how many groups within a level are there in each center. In your center, how many E0 groups are there? How many E1 groups are there? How many E2 groups are there? That's the first step. The second, and I'm sure you already know that. Yeah, the second step is, within this specific levels, are the objectives common or the objectives different? If the objectives is common, you can have one common paper for your center. If the objectives covered are different, you can have 2 different papers. Yeah, am I making sense?
Vijay, I have a question here.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So the fact is that we do have 2 different levels for E2.
Okay.
I'm talking from my experience.
Okay.
Though we are trying to cover the same objectives, there is one group which is doing much more than the other 2 groups.
Okay.
So how do we do we actually set separate objectives?
No. Whatever you have taught to children, whatever objectives you have taught to children, you will test children on them. Okay. You will not test children on what you have not taught. You can't say I have taught, but they don't know this. Then you have not taught. Then they have not mastered.
No, yeah? I think I'll just rephrase my question. It's that we have taught. So there is one group which has learned it well. There's another group which hasn't been able to come to that level.
Yeah, that is fine. But you have taught, right? You have taught, right? And you have come to this conclusion through observation.
Yeah, based on our experience.
Yeah, based on your experience. You can confirm that experience through midline also.
Okay.
So it is anyhow, even if you take off that question, it's not going to be valuable. Even if you put the question, they're going to get it wrong. Yeah, that is fine. Okay. So the standard is, have you taught that objective? Test that objective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So in this situation, do we put 2 different question papers, or we do the same question paper with the?
So you have taught same objectives for all children, right?
Yeah.
Then it will be one paper.
Yeah.
Whatever objectives you have taught, you will have single paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Going forward, we can actually split it then.
Yeah. If you want to split it, you can split it. Yeah. So,
Vijay, can I add something here?
yes, sir.
We had similar discussion on within a group. We had similar kind of a two separate batches, set of students,
Yeah.
not faring well, or clearly, there is a disparity between the skill level. And we also concluded that since we call midline tests as a diagnostic test, what we do that we give same paper to both the group. That means
Okay.
all student common.
Okay.
But and after checking during the analysis, we may use that to make a subgroups or reallocate to certain volunteers or something.
Brilliant.
So
yeah, that's
I
awesome.
think this connected. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I'll share with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first step I've told was figure out the number of groups in your center for each level. Second, say if they are common or different. It is your choice and depending on your center needs. The third step is from each group, you have to get the objective numbers in the teacher book. Yeah, I'm assuming everyone understands objective numbers or objective codes for English. Yeah, it is there in your teacher book.
Yes.
Yeah. So for when you're collecting the objective codes, you will collect for these 4 skills which are in the written test. You collect for reading comprehension, writing, grammar, and vocabulary for each group. Yeah. So after you collect it, and of course you will collect the number of chapters they have completed in the textbook also, because that will give you what are the vocabulary words which can be used. Yeah. I think someone from Powai had asked, should we collect the chapter number also? Yes, you have to collect the chapter number also. Yeah. So you're going to collect actually 5 things. One is reading comprehension code, writing code, grammar code, vocabulary code, and chapter number till chapter they've completed, and you have to keep it with you. Yeah, is this step clear? This is for each group in each level. Any doubts till here?
तो कौन सा मिल रहा है? रेड मिल रहा है, ग्रीन मिल रहा है?
Ma'am, can you put your phone mute?
ग्रीन ले लो. रेड का, हाँ रेड मैंने मंगा लिया था.
Okay, so the next step is you will take the paper I've sent you. I've sent you in PDF. Yeah, and I'm also going to send you a Word document. So in this PDF, if you can open it and see, there'll be objective codes in front of all the questions. Okay, on top of all the questions. Okay, and there are some rules here also. Reading comprehension, you will never touch it. That's a standard format. Do not edit reading comprehension in all the papers. Yeah, if you have a question and a number of questions, if you have a paragraph and a number of questions, that's a standard format. We do not edit reading comprehension. Second is writing. Yeah, depending upon the number of objectives you have completed, say in writing, in E0 there are say like 10 objectives. I'm just assuming. So you have completed only 3 objectives. Then in the E0 paper, you can delete objective number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Am I making it clear? Or
Yes.
is it confusing? Yeah. From the paper I've sent you, you can delete the objectives you don't want or which you have not covered.
Yes.
Everyone got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. After this process, you have to edit the format of the paper. So when you're one major thing which we need to be very conscious is the number of paper we are printing out, right? So make sure you can edit the paper in the Word document and make sure you utilize the space properly. Yeah.
Yes.
Do not keep it as do not print out single side assessments. Do not leave lot of gaps in between. Make sure you are covering up the space. You are formatting the paper. Yeah. And the last part is, please proofread the paper. And if you are having difficulty in proofreading, please make someone else proofread the paper before you print out the paper. So these are the steps. Yeah. So if you do this for each level and in level for each subgroup, you will have
ये शायद अभी
same
इंग्लिश का दे रहा है,
paper
मेरे को बाद में ये करने
or
का, तो कैसे करूँ?
different
वैसे ही करूँ ना
papers.
मैं?
So
अभी ये डिस्कनेक्ट कर, इसका डिस्कनेक्ट कर.
So these are the steps to be followed while you are designing your
नहीं, मैंने डिस्कनेक्ट किया वो. नहीं हुआ नहीं है. डिस्कनेक्ट चालू है.
Okay, I'm going to mute people from here. Sorry, because maths people will be waiting. So this is about written tests. If you have any question on this, please please ask me now.
Vijay, Anu,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Last year's experience, when we do this, you send it in Word, and typically when we have those images, the formatting and that, when you redo it, it gets shifted or it gets covered on text. It's fine. So just keep that in mind when you are sending.
Sure,
if you can merge the whole as a one image, like group kind of thing.
I understand that problem, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the whole Word document and a PDF also, so that you have a go-to document to check if this is the same. So Word document, if it has changed, you can see the PDF and edit it by yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so, Vijay, just yes, Vijay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Vijay, just I wanted to ask you, what about the marking system?
So in the document I've sent you, next to each question, that marks are given. So after you edit the paper, on the total marks will be blank on top of the paper I've sent you, right?
Okay.
So you can count and put the total marks. So when you're giving us, entering the Midline data, we don't want the marks, we want the percentage.
Okay, fine. So means every paper will have a separate maximum marks.
Yeah, it will have different marks.
Fine, thank you. Okay, fine, thank you.
Mr. Anup, did I answer? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share a PDF and a Word document also, depending on if we will see how it works, what we can.
Yes, Vijay. Yes, Vijay. That's fine.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Can Vijay, can the paper be passed on to the respective volunteers to do it for their own class, or do we have to do it as mentors?
Please do it as you, because though. So I'm not doubting our volunteers' integrity, but I think it'll be a good process to test it and see. Like first you do it as mentors. Of course, you would want your volunteers' help. Yeah, in doing that. If you want your volunteers' help, that is fine. But do not share the paper commonly for all the volunteers.
Okay. Yeah, that's the point I was asking.
I just want to make sure the standard is right. Yeah, and if you share the paper for all the volunteers, I don't know if we can maintain the same assessment quality or standard. Yeah.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question?
Vijay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anu here from Mulund.
Yeah.
There may be some levels or some groups who will have only 3 or 4 questions to attempt.
So by default, they'll have reading comprehension.
Yeah.
And in grammar, if they have 2 or 3 questions, that's fine. And in writing, that's fine. So see, we just want to test what you have taught. Are you testing it? We just want to,
So we don't need to give additional questions or anything just to fill up the paper for it.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the last point, I'm going to end this call with this. We have had children who have been in a certain level for the last 3-4 years also. Yeah. And this year, let's try to challenge it. If there are very, if there are 0.1, like if there are 1 or 2% who are struggling with like this, that is fine. But we have around like 35% of children being in the same level for a long time. This year, our goal is to have maximum level movements for old students. New students, they'll take their own sweet time, that's fine. But for old students, let us push for maximum level movements. If a child has been in a same level for last 3 or 4 years, then we have something really, we need to relook at our quality standards, right? So first, let us push for maximum level movements for old students. That's the first thing I want to say. And second thing I was telling about oral tests being a choice. Yeah, we are not conducting reading fluency for midterm. We will conduct reading fluency for end line, but I highly recommend you conduct a oral assessment for, you can conduct oral assessment for your TPR. Please conduct a TPR. If you have, TPR assessment, you tell the sentence, they need to do the action for individual students, I'm saying. And if you do the action, they need to tell the sentence. Please conduct TPR, and please make sure all our children are well versed with Dolch and Fry's list. Yeah, no matter which level they are, they've introduced Dolch and Fry's list last year. Old students, even in E0 level, should be able to read all the Dolch and Fry's lists by now. Yeah, it's been 1.5 years. New students will take time. I'm talking about majority of old students. Like, if people should have completed George list, and they should be in like at least 200 or 300 words of Fry's list. So if you have not done that, please make sure you are testing Dolch and Fry's list, and you are testing TPR in oral assessment. This is not compulsory. This is a suggestion which will be really helpful for your volunteers to understand, okay, our children are lagging behind in something. Yeah. And please say that special needs students are fine. That will be like 2-3% of a population. That is fine by default. But I'm talking about a majority of students who have not moved on level. So special needs students, really good you have identified them. And Usha ma'am asked, level movements will be after end line. Yes, level movements can happen after end line as well. This end line, not after midline.
Excuse me, Vijay, just a second.
Yes,
for those children who were in the same level last year, and they have completed their course now, they will be again appearing for the midline. So what do you say? If they are able to score above 80, we should not shift them still in midline?
No. So
then what will they do later on? Means after midline.
So for example, during midline we cannot change levels, only for the reason how will you get the textbooks in the month of November and December? Have you already got textbooks and kept for them for next level, assuming this?
Not exactly, but we have got 3-4 extra books that way.
Okay, so I recommend you start teaching E1 objectives. You can teach if they have completed E0 objective. It doesn't make sense just for the things, but the only thing is you cannot put it in document. In level movements will happen only in baseline or end line.
Okay. Yeah? So you mean to say that we can keep on exercising, and maybe writing work we can start with E1 or the next level thing?
Yeah.
Right?
And we will not get any textbook.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So pre-E0, yes, we'll work on it. Mr. Anumama has pre-E0 level. Yeah, we'll work on it. We are evolving. Yeah, let's hope for the best. Yeah, I'll share some resources pre-E0, even though we don't have a level, but we'll work on it. Yeah, I need to go to Max volunteers, so I'm going to end this call now. Do we have all chapters done? So we take. No.
Thank you so much, Vijay.
Okay, so I've got last question. Ms. Pushpa Mama has asked, do we need to do only from June to now? No. For old students, from beginning. From beginning, there is no, only thing. We are going to assess from beginning. Yeah?
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to go for Max volunteers.
Thank you
for joining. If you have any doubts, please put it in the mentors group. We can talk. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.